right, hello viewers and welcome to Infogist TV. Organizers of the 2024 End Bad Governance protest, the Take It Back movement, have announced plans to stage a demonstration against the ongoing state of emergency rule in Rivers State and the alleged misuse of the Cybercrime Act by the Nigerian police to target activists, journalists, and social media influencers. The protest is scheduled for April 7, 2025. It has also been described as a nationwide protest against bad governance and free speech suppressions. Supporters are urged to gather at the National Assembly in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. In an interview with Punch on Monday, Juwon Sanyalo, the national coordinator of Take It Back, clarified that their core demand is the repeal of the Cybercrime Act. The issue revolves around how the Cybercrime Act is being weaponized to suppress free speech. Journalists and activists, as you know, are often the primary targets of both the Act and the broader crackdown on free speech. This also affects social media users, including individuals like King and others, Sanyolu said. The protest organizers are also calling for an end to the emergency rule in Rivers State, which they describe as military rule imposed by the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They are demanding a reversal of this action and the full reinstatement of all suspended government bodies, including the State House of Assembly and the Executive. Most importantly, we are demanding an end to bad governance. The policies implemented by Tinubu have caused considerably hardship, Sanyolu remarked during a phone interview. He also emphasized that the protest is not limited to Abuja. This is a nationwide protest. Flyers detailing additional protest locations will be shared soon, he concluded. Some of the journalists that have suffered harassment in the last 1 year from state actors, including former editor of First News Segun Olatunji, Daniel Ojukwu, a journalist with the Foundation for Investigative Journalism, Dayo Eitan, executive director of the International Center for Investigative Reporting, and Nuruddin Akewoshola, an investigative journalist with the platform. The suspension of the governor and the elected representatives in Rivers State has been met with the condemnations and call for caution by different stakeholders. Nigerians have also lamented hardship in living in the country with rising cost of living and sprawling inflations. This is not helped by protests against insecurity, with notable protests in Enugu and Ondo. On the other hand, the Central Bank of Nigeria has shown Nigerians reports under Bola Ahmed Tinubu's regime, the economy. The data released by the Central Bank of Nigeria in its economic report for fourth quarter 2024 has revealed that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led Nigerian government failed to meet revenue targets for the quarter. According to the document, federally collected revenue saw a 5.31% increase compared to the previous quarter, though it still fell short of the benchmark by 19.67%. The report further noted that the federal government of Nigeria retained revenue was 10.40% higher than in the preceding quarter, but remained significantly below the target, standing 48.57% short of the expected figure. On the expenditure side, aggregate expenditure increased by 2.22% compared to 3 quarters in 2024, though it was 22.9% lower than the quarterly target. As a result, the fiscal deficit narrowed by 3.61% when compared to the previous quarters, but widened by 34.44% relative to the proportionate quarterly target, the report read. It was further noted that in terms of gross federation account earnings, the period saw an improvement largely driven by higher receipts from oil revenue. The provisional gross federation account receipts stood at 7.23 trillion, reflecting a 5.31% increase from the preceding quarter, but still 19.67 below the benchmark. According to Central Bank of Nigeria's report, oil revenue specifically saw a significant rise of 53.59%, reaching 2 trillion naira compared to 3 quarters in 2024. Despite this increase, it fell short of quarterly target by 62.19%. Nigerians have struggled to fund each budget over time, relying heavily on loans, which has over time led high debt servicing figures. The Central Bank of Nigeria report had highlighted the challenge of debt by Nigerians. At the end of September 2024, public debt stock remained within the 70% threshold for market access countries, the report read. Now, the total public debt outstanding stood at 142.32 trillion naira, 51.29% of the GDP at the end of September 2024, and was 5.97% higher than the level. On the Rivers State emergency rule, the suspended governor of Rivers State has assured the Rivers people that the crisis that they are going through today will strengthen the people rather than weaken them. Fubara also said some people are bent on causing violence in the state in a bid to deny the people their means of livelihood, saying it will not be allowed to happen. He said this when he received Muslim leaders from 20 Islamic-based groups, including the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, at his private residence in Port Harcourt during an Eid el-Fitr Salah visit. This was contained in a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Nelson Chukwudi, on Monday. Addressing the delegations, Fubara urged them and his supporters to trust in God's process, saying, "This season is one of love, sharing and sacrifice. You have come to share in our pain and have made a great sacrifice through your prayers. As Christians, we believe that everything happens for a purpose, and I strongly believe that this situation is leading us towards a greater purpose." He acknowledged that the current political tensions might leave many feeling depressed, but emphasized that supernatural forces may be at play beyond human understanding. "No matter what we see, we must remain steadfast in all things. We give glory to Almighty God. I believe that in the end, we will emerge stronger," he added. He reaffirmed his commitment to justice and equality, stressing that his administration envisions a society where no one is oppressed. The governor stated, "We believe in egalitarianism, and if our beliefs bring us some pain, so be it. The most important thing is that we stand on the side of truth and righteousness." He regretted that he was unable to formally reach out to Muslim Ummah during their celebration, but promised that the relationship between religious groups and the government will be strengthened once the current uncertainties has been resolved. Fubara also assured the leaders that their pending request will be addressed after the crisis subsides, urging patience and perseverance. Fubara drew an analogy from religious history, saying, "If God could be patient with Noah to allow even the snail to enter the ark, then patience remains an essential virtue in our struggle." He also cautioned against falling prey to those who want to engineer violence by fanning provocative acts, warning his supporters and Rivers people to avoid certain elements who sought to destabilize the state. "Their goal is to create problems and deny people their means of livelihood. We will not allow that. We will continue to operate peacefully and respect constituted authorities to ensure that our state remains a model for others in Nigeria," he noted. Speaking earlier on behalf of the Muslim Ummah, Nasio Hall declared their solidarity with Fubara, assuring him of their prayers and support as he navigates the state's current political challenges. All stated that the majority of Muslims in Rivers State stand with Fubara due to his inclusive approach to governance and his recognition of the Islamic faith. He noted that unlike the previous administration that declared Rivers a 100% Christian state, Fubara, upon assuming office, acknowledged the state as a Christian majority state while allowing room for inclusiveness, encouraging the governor to remain steadfast or reminded him of the Islamic belief that Allah rewards patience. He said the present challenges aligns with teachings of Islam, where the Creator tests his people through wealth, power, and authority. Oho further called on President Bola Tinubu to review the emergency rule in the state and restore Fubara's full authority, emphasizing that the governor has been performing effectively